Yeah,
Okay.
I'm recording now. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, again. Welcome to today's webinar, From Components to Prototype with AI. I am Elham. I'm a user experience designer at SAP. I have backgrounds in development, and why I'm sharing, because during my programming time, I was working with neural networks and AI models. And that's why right now I'm really excited about these intersections, that finally I can use the learnings that I had through development part, and right now I can combine it with design. And by that, I'm really interested in following how to use AI tools during the design, or how to design AI features. But to be honest, I am more enthusiastic about AI-based design operations. So as I mentioned, I just sent kind of emails to you with exercise. If you have done that, please open your Figma file through the kind of workshops we are going through that. Or if not, there's a link you can have access to this file that I prepared. Please just copying it and to your Figma files and work on that. And also, please go to MagicPatterns, and it's here. So this is the main page. Log into that. It has a free tutorial, so it's enough for today. And this is the part that you can write your kind of prompts. Okay. By that, I would like to share the agenda for today. First of all, I would like to take you through a kind of little backgrounds and discussing theirs, then comparing the Figma vs MagicPatterns and seeing which one wins, and seeing how we can create the components in Figma, because that's a part of today's kind of title for this webinar. And we have a QA. We have the QA, but it doesn't mean that if there's some questions during the webinars that you would like to just know more about the MagicPatterns or the Figma AI, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question directly. There's no problem with that. And by that, I would like to go and start the presentation. So the first question is, why do we even need components? Why components is that important that we put it into the title? And we are saying from components to the prototype, we are not just saying the designing. If you have any answer, or if you want to comment on that, feel free to unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to this exercise file as I shared with you. So the first task here, if you have your own design file, or if you are using these webinar exercises for us, is to kind of add increasing the paddings between the title and the price in this design. So I would like you to all increasing the paddings here, or if you have any other use cases on your side. For example, here in this case, we can see the padding between these two in the auto layout is 0. However, we decided to increasing this to 8. So this is for the first iteration that we believe 8 is enough. Then I need to go to the next one and add it to 8. The same for the next one. So consider that I have finished and updated all these cards manually, one by one, and then they are telling us that no, we realize that 8 is not good, and tomorrow is our user testing, because we want to check it with seniors, and we think that 16 is better. So again, I'm going and updating all of them by 16. And then in a point, I'm just overwhelmed with all of these changes, because it is not only this file that I want to prepare it for our testing or just for developers to start working, but there are a lot of other changes. For example, they are saying that we just need to change this kind of radiuses. Instead of being 18s, we need to keep them 8, because this is a kind of new guidelines that we want to start on that. Okay, I will start changing all of these to 8. And I'm really happy with that. But what about the other parts that we have 16 as a radius? It's not only here, but also it's in the other buttons. So probably you can realize that it's a lot of effort, but it's just one frame and one page. What about that if I have a more complex solutions of hundred pages in different design files? How I want to be sure that I updated all of them kind of correctly and everything is aligned based on what we need. So here I just put the prompts for this design because I used AI for all of these things, all the images that you can see on all the designs. So here we are coming to why we need the components. The components are the essential part of our design to keep it consistent across all the pages, all the frames, and it doesn't matter how complex my solution it is. It also, once it is keeping this consistency, it also helps me to do iteration faster. It means that if I use the cars as a component for one of the books here, and also it's the kind of components it can kind of automatically updating everywhere. So there is no need for me to going through all them one by one and find them. Also, this consistency can happen on the level of the interaction. So you can be sure that if you are updating your interactions on the interactions level for your prototype, everything is aligned. So we are kind of clear on all the cross-functional parts that we need to keep them kind of updated. And besides all of them, it helps our designs to be scalable. So there is no concerns for the scalability here. And that's what matters in the companies and in the enterprise spaces. But why we mentioned with the AI and how we want to use AI effectively. So the idea is that right now we are using AI to foster all these kind of solutions, and there is no need for us to start from scratch, but we can just be kind of inspired by AI and then we'll start. Or we can just faster these iterations, building with AI, collecting the feedbacks, and then just only focusing on the main business problems that we have. But I heard a lot these comments from designers that they are saying that if I want to spend too much talking with the AI what to do, I can do it faster on my side. And my answer always is that it really depends on what you're talking with AI. And the prompts here is the language of talking with the AIs that they need to have kind of some specific structures, let's say. For example, you can see these structures as languages. So I only know Persian and English as my languages that I'm speaking. But if you start talking with me in Spanish, I can't help you at all. So you need to know the languages that I'm using. And that's the same for prompts. For example, each prompt, it needs to have 4 different parts in a good prompts that you can expect that the outcome is really close to what you expect. The first thing is that you need to give it clear instructions to AI so it knows what it wants to do. Second thing is it needs to have a little background information. So if you're coming and saying that, okay, I want to design a table and I want to show these informations, for example, like a name, like the surnames, and capturing all this kind of data. So, and you don't give me the context, so I have no idea where you want to put it. Is it for a kind of smaller screen, if it's for Windows, or is it kind of where you want to use that? What is that this data is just you want to kind of show them? Maybe there are a lot of concerns there. So you need to give me background information. And however, AI is intelligent. It is not intelligent enough to read your mind. And also, if you want to help to give you desired output, you need to give some specific example to guide it through what you want. And by that, and mentioning that what is your output desired output, so it can really help you to get kind of to that point. However, in the emails, you can find the handbook that I was writing for prompt engineering for designers. And there are different techniques that you can use for your prompt engineering that I'm not going deep here. But you can see, for example, you can give the AI models. What I'm doing a lot that I'm just saying, for example, if I want to design something, I'm saying, yeah, you are a senior UX designer with this amount of experiences. For example, in this area you're working and now you want to solve this challenge. So you can give it different roles. You can just having a chain thoughts together, and that will be help. And also, if you are not sure about your prompts, you can always ask the AI models to refine your prompts. For example, for this webinar, I was asking ChatGPT to refine some of the prompts that I'm using for first draft AI in Figma. So I'm just giving you an example how a prompt needs to look like. So because the things that I was sharing, maybe it sounds like, but here we can go through the example. So here we are saying that I'm saying that you are designing a responsive card UI component for an online bookstore, and these cards will be showcased both in the grid layout across the home page and category page. Then I'm giving the instructions. So it's kind of the backgrounds that I'm sharing at first, but then I'm giving it the instructions. How it looks, how it needs to look like, what it needs to cover, like the cover image, title, author, price, and the rest. I'm giving it context where it needs to be used. So I'm saying, yeah, this is the kind of, in the site's browsing experience, it's a core part, and it needs the language of the design is modern and minimal. If the model allows you to upload the kind of photos, you can use that as an example section. So yeah, I thought this is really nice. I want you to design something like that. And at the end, you can show it that, okay, this is the desired output. For example, it needs to be kind of styled with the round corners. I would like to have a shadow and some kind of hover animations on the bottom of the image. So once you are drafting these prompts, there is no need to specifically mention this is the instruction, this is the context. No, I just put it there so we can realize which part is what. But generally, you can hide that, and there is no need to mention because already AI can read that and understand what parts means what. Okay, but once you are using AI, it's just not about fostering the situation, but also we need to use it ethically. What does it mean? It means that the transparency here matters a lot. Whoever is your user, is it your product team or is it the customers, they need to know where AI was used. The second thing is about the privacy and data. Yeah, we can collect all the data. We can use the data for AI to know the backgrounds, but we need to think about it. Do we have consent for that? Or is it really necessary to collect this data? And the third thing is the bias that we are carrying it with the AI. Right now, AI models are just developed on what is kind of possible and what the designs that we have. But once you are using it, soon it will fed up with this kind of uncorrected data, and we are not aware of these biases, and it's go in a vicious cycles. But our role as a UX designers is to recognize and correct this. So whatever AI give you, you should not you should not blindly use that. So be aware of that biases. And also think about the long-term effect of using AI. How do you want to build the trust by using AI with the kind of society? So please consider these things once you are designing with AI or designing AI features. Nice. So now here is the competition part. Let's compare the Figma AI vs MagicPattern and see which one wins. Here, I would like you to go to your Figma files. So you already, if you already finished the exercises, you know how the Figma AI works. But here I can explain it a bit for those that they didn't use that. Just things is that because building this with AI takes a bit of time, so I already made them, and you have all the prompts here. You can see what is the outcome. So I just wanted to save the time of this webinar. So we have this use case for the online bookstore that we were talking, and I have a prompt here that as a senior UX designer, you are tasked with creating an applications for UX3 that soon they will have a bookstores. And they are specialized in this UX related literature. And your goal is to map out the entire user journey, beginning with sign in and to checkout pages. And also we need to have dedicated pages that provide detailed information about each book. And this application includes features such as ability to mark books as favorite ones, or the option to purchase them directly from either the landing page or book details page. So if you have something else in mind that right now during the webinar you want to create on that, for that you need to go to this kind of little tiny button here that it has the actions, and you are going to here there is a first draft. In the first draft, we have only 4 options. It can be basic app or it can be wireframe level. It can be on the app level or site level, and also it's doing the wireframes. And then you can just write your prompts here, and then it will make it. So with the first prompt that I gave it, it just produced this one. In the first look, it looks nice. Here we have the sign-ins, we have the books, but it didn't consider adding the buttons for buying directly on this level. But in the detailed page, it has. But wait, I want to make a prototype out of it. And with the Figma AI, it just put all of them in one page. How do I want to do that? I just crazy. So I have no idea what to do that. But there's something here that I can change. For example, I can go here and just adding the make changes. I can change the color, primary color. I can change the rounding somehow, as you see, considering the first ones that we try to just kind of changing the radiuses once we don't have the components. It might be easier, as you can see. But the thing is that all of them are on the first one page. And you can add this, you can add more details into your prompt, so it will updating it. But as I mentioned, we can use it for prototyping purposes. So the second things that we'll learn once you want to use the Figma AI first draft, you need to design each page separately. So for example, here, as you see in the second step, I said just design the sign-in page, design the home page, and design the book details. And this is what I received. Good. I have everything here. But the thing is that I don't see a consistency here. For example, here the main color is purple, but here it is black. So however, I can just change these colors here, but as you can see, we don't have any other. So yeah, I can change it to, for example, night mode or light mode, but it doesn't help that. But one thing that it can, we try that here, is that if I want to make a prototype out of it, it's easy because I'm just selecting all the frames and I'm going there and saying add interactions. So let's see what's happening here. Once we are setting the interactions, you see that we will have a signing. Then if I select some books, I'm going there and then from the home. Just, I will add a floating starting point, and I would like to check if it's really working. Yes, I'm adding this is signing. I have everything here. They are not interactable. The only one is this one. So yeah, and I can go to the home. Good. So this is what the Figma AI can do. Of course, you can do some other things like, I don't know, removing the backgrounds, boosting the resolutions, renaming layers, or some of the other things. But as you can see, this is the final level of designs. And of course, you can give more iteration, but it's kind of like this at the end. You can just, yeah, as you can see, it's not consistent at all in the first level. Okay, so keeping this first prompt in mind, we are going to the magic pattern. So in the magic patterns, start drafting the prompt for yourself for the topics that you had in mind for the Figma files, and then start building on the magic pattern. The good things about MagicPattern is that you can say what is your default presets that you want to make it based on that. It can be HTML, wireframes, any other of these things, or you can create your own presets from here and you can give it all the details. Also, you have the ability to adding the images as your references. Just for your information, for example, with the HTMLs, this is here that we are going deep down into it and it's kind of interactable. But however, for wireframe, this is like this and it is really clean. And that's why I think that I am a bit biased with MagicPatterns, but let's go through the kind of steps that we want to have. So as I mentioned, I pre-made all of these things to foster today's webinar and saving more time. I gave it the first prompt here, and I said that, okay, the same thing that I asked Figma, and this one was the outcome. But here on the MagicPatterns, I want to sign in, and it's saying that, okay, you need to have your email addresses. I'm just adding and I'm adding a password. It has the kind of messages, warning messages that please include your emails. Right now it's not showing, but yeah. But it is really brilliant. Also, I can switch to create account, sign in, and you can see all these things happen at this level. Nice. So I have the first page. Is it interactable? Yes, I just like this one. And I can see it in my favorite parts. However, can I shop it? Oh my God, yes, I have it into the cart. And if I go to the cart and I will proceed to checkout, and I'm not adding this kind of shipping addresses, but you see that I can go all the levels and at the end I can place the order. It's almost like a working applications that we can use it for our basic user testing to collect the kind of data from the users. However, after a bit of investigation, I can see that this is not kind of correct to have the navigation bar on the top. And that's here I'm just saying that, okay, you design everything, but this aim is for Androids, and I don't like to have the navigation bar on the top. So I would like to have it in the bottom. As you can see, the good things about the MagicPattern is that it has a chain of thought, so you can see what's happening in the backgrounds. It's despite the Figma that is just building, it is giving you the context at what's happening, and you can go through all of them. And also, it's just talking to you that what is the updated and what's happened. Okay, again, I'm going here and signing, and as you can see, I have the navigation bar here working nicely. And that's nice. So it's saying that your card is empty. Also, we are covering the empty states. The next thing is that I saw some navigation bar and kind of other kind of design size, but I really love it, but I don't know how to implement it. So I'm just uploading this image and saying that please make this navigations part bar like what I would like to have. So it is again updating. Now, wow, I have it, but there's a problem. First of all, it is not like writing the title of each tab next to it. And also the color is not consistent here. Again, I'm just asking it that, okay, this is not a consistent brand color and I would like to update it. And also I would like to work on that part that I will show each tab's name next to the icon. Okay, now again it is updated. I have the home here, I have the favorites, and I have the card. However, this is not the end. I see that there is another problem here, that there is a filter and there are other kind of text names here. And for the last part, I'm saying that please update this part because I don't want them to be kind of redundant and it's not a kind of nice experience. And now it's adding the categories. One thing that right now I'm missing with MagicPatterns in general sharing with you is that it can criticize its own design. There are other tools that they are doing it if you're uploading your libraries and your design systems, and it can give you feedback which part is not kind of correct or is not consistent. but MagicPattern doesn't have that yet. But I mean, this is a very nice place to start. For example, you know the major things that you want to test with your kind of users, and then once you are checking with them, then you can go deeper to your main business problem. So this is right now comparing to Figma, what was the ability in prototyping. But if you remember, we had the name of components in our title. The good things about MagicPatterns is that it can work on the component level as well. So right now, I know that I want to have some components for our cards in the online bookstores, but I have no clue how to start, about the ratio of the sizes, about the buttons, and where to put them. So I'm asking MagicPatterns such as these kind of prompts, and then it is creating these full kind of cards to see that, okay, how does it look like in the kind of applications. But once I'm working them, they are not interactable, so I have no clue how should I add the interactions in this level. So first of all, I'm saying that, okay, just one is enough. Don't spend a lot of tokens on creating different ones. But instead of that, make it interactable for different states. Here I can say I would like to have different states like idle, hover, click, but for the simplicity, I added there, and I just want to show you, even if you are talking with the simplest kind of prompts, how effectively it works. So in the next level, it is creating this one. Okay, I can add it to favorites or not. So this is something that I can learn. And then also, as you can see, I can purchase it, and it shows different stages as like waiting once it's done, and I have all these interactions. Also, you can ask it to give you some more kind of messages and other kind of error things, but it works on the component level. In comparing with Figma, that it was only on the wireframe websites or applications, it is go far beyond that. But is it all? No. The thing is, beautiful things about MagicPattern is that it has its ability to be creative. For example, I had the same things a while ago for personal projects, that I had the idea, but I didn't want to follow the same things that happening right now with the other kind of other websites, and I wanted to be creative. So you can easily ask it that, okay, I have this feature and I want to design this feature. How do you do that? For example, because I'm not sure how to use the names. You're saying, okay, sometimes I don't even know that the name of these items is a card. So how can I interact with the kind of models? Here I said that, okay, I have just these online bookstores, and it has a feature of discounts that if you are buying 2 copies, more than 2 copies, then you will have 20% of discounts. But I don't know how to show them. So your role as a UX designer is to design it minimal and modern. So this is how it gave it to me. It's just, okay, I'm adding it. One page. Okay, sorry. It seems that I selected wrong one. Yeah. So right now I'm saying that, okay, I want to buy 1, 2, 3, but consider that your card is not visible because it's just showing without interactions. Still, I can see it's 12.99, but it's happening. The discounts right now is happening, and I have no idea how many of them I selected. So this is not kind of close to what I want. And then I say that, I don't want the price to be only updated on the cart level, but also on the kind of book level here that I can see in the homepage. And after that, it's just updated to this version. So as you can see, it's not visually appealing to have these big buttons as I add to cart. But let's see, how does it look? Okay, right now, it is giving more kind of context here. I can increase it here, or maybe, yeah, I can do it here. And nice. So I can decrease or increase, and I have the full kind of clarity of what's happening in the background. Nice, but it's not visually appealing. And I have no idea how to make it cleaner. So again, I'm saying that, I like the solutions, but I don't like the UI and how you are representing it. And this is the kind of last one that it's just saying that, yeah, I can do this here, and here I have to up this one more for 20% off. And you see it just kind of live on, and once it's there, it's just showing it. Probably I don't like this 20%. Of course, I can do that, but this is the whole things that I had no idea how I would design it, and suddenly it came to kind of real world. The good things about MagicPattern is that you have ability to test it on different kind of devices, like the mobile. How does it look like on the mobile ones, iPhones, or just responsive to this page? Okay, so let's back to this part. FigmaAI vs MagicPattern, and which means I think that you know my answer already, but I would select MagicPatterns as of now. We can wait until next week and seeing what is the updates from Figma. But right now, what I really love about the MagicPatterns is that it has this transparency in thought. So it explains you in different stages what's happening there, what is being stated, and you have that. Also, you have the ability to design on the component level. You don't need to design the full applications like Figma, but you can just focus on the specific things that you need to have. It gives you the prototyping options, and you have the feeling of it's just a real applications working. So it's amazing for faster iterations to do your kind of testings and then focusing on the important things. And also comparing to Figma, you can add your images or you can add your styles. As you saw, you can discuss about it in which levels you would like to have these whole things happening. There are more things that I can talk about MagicPattern, but these are the most important things that I love about it. So, okay, right now we learned everything about MagicPatterns. We know that Figma is lagging, but how can I use what I had on the MagicPatterns on the Figma? Because you're saying that, oh, yeah, I love the MagicPatterns, but my team used Figma. And I would love to take something from MagicPatterns to Figma. So in that case, for example, you can go here and select this part and say that, okay, I would like to export this to Figma. You can sync it to your GitHub, or you can have other kind of options. But for now, we are interested in Figma. I'm looking at here, exporting to Figma. And now I'm going to this page, components in Figma. And from here, if you are launching your plugins and widgets, you can select MagicPatterns. And by that, you are pasting the link that you had and importing. Why the importing is going to be done, one thing that I just want to mention with you about MagicPattern is that you have the codes here. So as if you are a developer, or if you are kind of know what's happening with the codes, you can just change it from here directly, and you can see kind of changes on your design, and you can play around with it. However, as you can see, some of the images is missing, but I would like to try it, give it a try, and see if we can kind of play around here. But okay, I'm selecting these containers, I'm adding the following start points, and let's check how interactive it is. Okay. So unfortunately, as you can see, nothing is clickable. That's the unfortunate things that we are missing between the Figma and MagicPatterns. And the problem here is that Figma is vector based, and once we are exporting things from the MagicPatterns and importing into Figma, we are missing this kind of level of interactions. So if you are working in the Figma, the thing is that you can do your ideations there and then going to Figma and building your stuff. That's the solution for now. But if you are strong enough to convince your team to use the MagicPattern, then that's the kind of things that happening. So I already export one of the pages here, and I would like to go and take you through the components, because that's a part that, yeah, I got the idea how I wanted to my components and my cars looks like on the kind of page, but right now I don't have anything as a kind of interactable. And the most important thing that I said about the components is that you can keep them, you can keep the interactions there. So first thing that I'm going is that I want to make this button to be a kind of, because this is the smallest part of each components that we can make and as an interactable. So I'm clicking on that and I'm saying that, okay, create components out of it. Okay, so then I'm going to properties and adding a variant to it, because I want to have different states. So the first property name is state. And I'm just saying that this is default state. However, I want to add another one and saying that is favorite. So is favorite means that I just already click on that. So I'm going here and I'm just changing this color to something that it will be our kind of main color. For example, here I want to add it to be reddish. But the thing is that we would like to have a special red and using in different parts. So going to the styles and I'm saying that the colors, and here I'm saying the, for example, button, and I'm indicating red. So by that, anyone who is seeing this, they know that this is the red for the buttons that we are using. And I'm going there and selecting this color. So I already have this style. So I'm just selecting this one to be the button red that we have, and I'm filling it because I would like to have that one as well. So in the first level, we have this kind of one, but I would like to change this one as a from white to some kind of selected, and I'm saying here and saying another one, and it's be button our button selected. So for example, we would like to have for our button selected to be this kind of blue, and I'm saying that, okay, right now I want to assign the feelings to be this kind of button selected. To make it interactable is that I want to, once I'm clicking, it will switch to this one. So I'm going to the prototype and I'm like this. So once it's clicked, so I unclick. Why it doesn't have to click one? Okay. Again, I'm adding the interaction here. So okay, because it's Android, so I want to say that we are designing for MacBook. So right now I can select, okay, once on the click, it is changing to its favorite. And the other thing is that I want to have the reverse actions. Once I'm clicking again, I would like to change it to default. Nice. So now I'm deleting this one from here, and I'm creating an instances from this one to this container. Great. So this is the first things that I added to components, and here I want to kind of put them into a group and then adding a kind of layout here, and I would like to keep them with the padding of right now 2, or let's add a 5, it will be visible. Nice. And then also we have a button here, but right now I see that we are kind of limited by time. I'm not going that details. So first we created our button, and now I want to create our component out of this container. And again, I'm saying create component out of this. So we can have different components in the main components. So for example, if I go and change the color here, you can see that immediately it shows here. And if I reverting it, it's happening. So right now I'm just deleting this one and this one, and instead I'm adding more variant. So one thing about variants is that everything is coming from components to variants. As you saw here, I was changing the color and it happens here. But for example, here, if I change the name to milk and honey, you see that it's not affecting on the main component. And that's the beauty of the components, that, for example, you can just send all the updates from components to the lower levels. And also here, I'm just, for the changes, I'm asking to remove the background. So let's go and add the floating points here. And starting that. Okay. Here, as you can see, now there's no interactions on the other components, but here I can like it or I can change it. Here, the same thing happens. But for the others, because I'm not using components, this change is not happening. So that's one of the most important things of the components. And now you see that how we can create this. We had an idea on the magic patterns. We need to, how this kind of liking or disliking works, and we applied it here. The other thing is that we were talking about the styles. Right now, if I'm changing this style here, and I say that, you know what, I don't like this red one, and instead I would like to have purple. And you can see that it's immediately updating it on all the design pages. So it doesn't matter how many pages, how complex your solution is, just you can be sure through these updates. So by that, we are creating our components. We are creating the components that they are building blocks of the libraries, and then we are making our design system. But I said the design system is built on the kind of components and instances. Let's see what happens if I detach this kind of instance, and then I will change the color, for example, color of here from purple, or let's say here it can be more visible. I'm changing it to black. So, sorry, I needed to also, okay, because this component is still there, but let's change this because we detach this component level on this level, and it's not instance anymore. But here, do you remember that we were discussing about, we were adding this padding here, and I'm going to remove this padding. You see, it's directly updated, and even if I go, it's updated. But once I'm detaching the instance from the main components, then the changes is not applied. Still, this button is not detached. So whatever I'm doing here, you can see directly in all of them, but on the level which is detached, it's not there. So please don't detach your instances once you are working with design systems and library, because believe me, from all the type of headaches, this is the worst ones that you can have. Great, so we are close to the end of the webinar. We will have this kind of QA now, if you have any questions. And even if I'm not able to answer it now, we can continue it on LinkedIn. Thank you for your attention, and I hope that there was some kind of valuable things in this webinar for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elham. Sorry, before we start with the question, I would just like to thank you for your time, for preparing the materials and everything. That was just like amazing, like so insightful. And I honestly didn't have idea. I never worked with magic patterns, and it seems like with MagicPatterns, it's actually possible to bridge the gap between, like, designs and the real world app, which is something that Figma never achieved, and that is amazing. So well done. It was very cool, and also like you stressing on not detaching components. I completely understand that, because it's like, it does seem like a good solution at the beginning, but later you pay a really expensive price for it. So that's a really good point. Thank you so much, Elham. I'm not sure, guys, does anyone have any questions for Elham?
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
No, you go for it.
Yeah, I'm just curious, and I could have missed this, but I was just wondering how, I know you mentioned about the branding colors and like applying that into MagicPatterns. That's what because I'm kind of trying to work with this a little bit at the moment, and what I'm struggling with is like making it look the way I wanted to without bringing it into Figma. So I was just curious if you had anything around that, and then I have a second question as well.
Yeah, in your MagicPatterns, you can kind of right now, as I mentioned, there are other kind of models that you can upload your libraries and you can upload your design systems, and it's directly giving you feedback that if it's consistent with the libraries or whatever, and also it is building the design based on your design system. Right now, we are missing that with the FigmaAI, and but on the motif it is available. You can search for that. It's kind of close to Figma, but however, in the MagicPatterns, you can explain kind of your main colors. You can explain it to kind of things that you want it to be, and then it can keep updating on that. But it's not like that. You can upload the whole libraries and designs. The good point about MagicPatterns that time to time I'm using it a lot for the personal projects is the part that I want to get the first inspirations, and then I would like the freedom on the Figma to build on that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I was kind of trying to see if I could push it further than that, but yeah, I don't think there's any getting around it right now. Okay, actually, that's my questions. Thank you.
As I mentioned, it's really creative about the other way of design. I tested several times, and every time it's successful.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for the lovely webinar. I suppose to the point, do you use MagicPatterns in your work with SAP?
No, we are not allowed to use that. That's the ethical part that we just need to use the specific AI models that we have available. But I'm really curious about that on my personal time. I'm working on these projects for myself and checking different models and tools.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig. Neve, does anyone else have any questions for Elham? Anything related to MagicPatterns? Again, because I feel that with Figma, everything is more or less clear, isn't it?
Yeah, as I mentioned, if you have any further questions or if you want to talk one-on-one about different models, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, because I love these kind of topics and discussions with open-minded people. So yeah, feel free to reach out whenever you feel like.
Okay, perfect. Then would you mind then, Elham, if I just attach your LinkedIn link to recording tomorrow when we'll be sending everything together?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Perfect. No, that's great. I found it like, so you basically can export real code from MagicPatterns and only HTML, is it?
Yeah, I just used HTMLs, but you can select your own presets that you would like to have, and it is working based on that. So in the dashboards, once you are writing your first prompt, You can select it, as I showed, it can be under kind of HTMLs, it can be wireframes, and it can be different things like importing your styling or other things. Yeah, yeah, maybe just I made a mistake answering. I forgot her name. I think it was Claire. That also you can import the styling from MagicPatterns. So it's somehow you can add your style there. Maybe it can be a bit more helpful.
I think that was for you, Neve, was it? Did you
Oh,
ask? Yeah.
Yeah, it
I-
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So explain that to me again. Sorry.
Here in the MagicPatterns, there's a part that you can use your imported sliding, which is in the MagicPattern. So it means that you can add your style first and then using that. So it's kind of closer or maybe more helpful there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'll have
Yeah,
a look.
sorry that
Thank you.
No worries.
No, not at all. It's changing all the time as well.
Yeah, I just like that. Yeah, I'm using it once, and then after a couple of weeks, I'm returning and say, "Oh, there's something more added there." So yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like I suspect my question, something will be added down the line, but I guess I'm wondering if there's more right now. But yeah,
Exactly.
thank you.
Right now, I'm not sure what's happening in the next week config watch party, and then once they are releasing about the Figma, maybe they will think about the design, your own design systems, but we need to see. This is the beauty of this time, just a lot of updates is coming from everywhere.
From all the sides, yeah. Let's hope that Figma will take some inspiration from their main competitors there, because it seems that they're stuck in one place for a while now.
Yeah.
That's great. Anyone else has any questions for Elham before we close the call? No. Elham, one more time, thank you so much in the name of UX3 and the name of our entire audience tonight. Thank you so much for all your time, all your hard work, for preparing the slides and all the work and all the knowledge that you transferred to us tonight. It's been a pleasure having you on board. I'll share LinkedIn with everyone, even with the guys who didn't join the call tonight. And guys, feel free to reach out to Elham if you have any other questions in relation to MagicPatterns or Figma. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank
Thanks,
you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great
Thank you,
night.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.